Ladies and gentlemen, it's a big, weird, wild world out there, folks, and here we stand. Al pie del cañón, ready for anything. I'm Rob, and you're listening to...
The Promo Show!
And Natch. Sorry, man, me despisto. How are we doing out there, friends? You're listening to the one and only Promo Show. Sorry, there wasn't a show yesterday. I heard two of you were quite angry about it. These things happen, man. The key to happiness is acceptance. But yeah, we're back. It's Friday, friends. We made it to the weekend. Well done. Congratulations, Natch. We did it. We managed to get to Friday relatively sane. Have you got any plans for the weekend?
Yes, I had to celebrate my son's birthday with his classmates. So.
Okay. I like the phrasing. I have to.
Yes. We work for me. No, birthday.
Yeah, I know.
He's wishing to do it.
Yeah, he's excited. But I understand you too, Me, what am I doing this weekend? Well, Saturday morning, I'll be working. I'll be going to Las Tablas to do a little reportaje, a little report with my colleague Marta Tovar. Andrea will be there too. We'll be speaking to people. So if any of you guys are at in Las Tablas, Madrid, the new offices, the new Vaughan offices, I'll be there. Andrea will be there. Marta Tovar will be there. Do you even know who Marta Tovar is? She's famous. If you watch Richard's morning show on Spanish national television, you know her. So let's see who's joining us in the chat. We've got Eric, Vero, Pedro. Oh, guys, and many more that just aren't talking. How are you doing out there, friends? Eric says, it's been a risky situation here in my place from volcanic smog. Eric joining us from the Philippines. If we've got any more Filipino listeners, be safe out there, friends. Be safe. Vero says, good morning, beautiful warriors around the universe. How are you doing, Vero? And everyone wishing Eric the best there. Good morning, Bridge. She says, good morning, Rob. I'm raring to light up. All right. Well, guys, as always, I thoroughly tortured the elves this morning. And we have an amazing show lined up for you in the second half of the show. We'll ask people to name a place. We ask 100 humans to name a place that gets crowded at the end of a work day. Nombra un lugar que se llene de gente al final de la jornada laboral. Oh,
wow, qué nivelazo.
All right. Nice. The translation, elf gets to keep his teeth. That's wonderful. So name a place that gets crowded at the end of the workday. Incomplete the news. We'll look at an Australian journalist and the test she ran on Australian regulations. It's quite a funny story. And if we've got time, we'll look at a band director from Alabama. Today's Complete the News. Not quite as controversial as usual, but definitely worth digging into with relation to competitive eating. Would you say la comida competitiva? Do you know these competitions like in New York, they do the hot dog eating contest in, I can't remember the name of the theme park. But you know what I mean? They eat hot dogs. The person who eats the most, the fastest, wins. La comida competitiva, would you say?
I would say competición de comida.
Competición de comida. Okay. So the unpopular opinion is competitive eating is gross and should be banned. La competición de comida es asqueroso o asquerosa y debería prohibirse. Yeah? Natch? Is that right?
Nivelazo.
Still with the masculine and feminine, dude. I'll never get over that. I'll never get over it. Nivelazo says, Vero, thank you. So that's today's unpopular opinion, but that coming up later. Right now, guys, I'm here, you're here. What is going on in the world? My God, I'm tired this morning, Natch. My partner came over last night with her dog, and her dog sleeps under the bed. And that asked me why. Sleeps under the bed. And then through the whole night, tries to escape the house by digging under the bed. with his gigantic long claws. Unbelievable, dude. I slept on the sofa voluntarily last night. Oh, dear, guys. Yeah. Let's see what's going on in the world. Well, we've got some amazing news, actually. Because we didn't do a show yesterday, I have quite a lot. So I'm going to cut to the most choice topics. Here we go. This piece of news coming from investmenttakes.substack.com. Oof. Pricing in the end of obesity. Pricing in the end of obesity. Obesity, I think you say, right, in Spanish, for obesity. People that are overweight to a degree where it affects, or it's a medical issue. Precios en el fin de la obesidad. The article discusses the impact of GLP-1 drugs. Have you ever heard of GLP-1 drugs, Natch? So this is a drug that was developed to treat diabetes. But then, as a secondary effect, they discovered that it also treats obesity. So Novo Nordisk and Eli Lilly are leading in this market with drugs like Ozempic and Mounjaro. Geez, can't they just call them decent, like easy to pronounce names? Like drugs like Peter and James. Or even Jaime. I mean, I'm good with Spanish translation now. Causing substantial weight loss and being approved for obesity treatment. The demand for such drugs is skyrocketing, with projections indicating the market could reach over $40 billion by 2030. My God. These developments could have widespread repercussions, potentially reducing obesity-related complications and associated healthcare costs, impacting companies that profit from obesity and its related conditions. Even influencing sectors like the food industry and dating apps. Can you believe that? Food industry and dating apps. They're not cutting any corners, Natch. They're like, yeah. More people on the market. It's weird to report on something like obesity, because here in Europe it's not so much of a critical issue, right? In England, it's much more of an issue. In the States, it's much more of an issue. But it seems like here in Europe, you have, I don't know, is it a healthier relationship to food? I mean, people in Spain eat a lot, but they eat good stuff, I think. You know, there have been correlations that show that poorer communities end up dealing with problems like obesity because of the quality of the food that they consume. And today, right, with the cost of living crisis that we're facing, begs the question to me, Natch, if this is not the same kind of mistake that I believe, again, this is just an opinion, that drug companies are making when it comes to drugs to treat anxiety and things like this. Let me explain, right? So there is an obesity epidemic. They discovered a drug that works great to reduce people's weight. Is that not treating a symptom rather than getting to the problem? You know, getting to the problem, which is high food costs, or at least high costs for food that is actually of some nutritional value. And the reason I relate that to mental health is because I believe in it. Again, this is not fact. This is not coming from a newspaper or anything. I believe that we're over-medicated as a society. Right? And that's not to say if you suffer from depression, it is a clinical illness, I know, an imbalance in chemicals in your body. But a lot of these cases of anxiety and things like that are not. Society and the world and the way we live, that is causing a lot of anguish in the world, right? So when we treat anxiety, depression, things like that, quite often we are dealing with symptoms of an unsustainable lifestyle. Would you agree with that statement, Natch? Yeah, right?
Yes.
So, yeah, whereas this is good news if you suffer from obesity and you can't find a way, you can't find a light at the end of the tunnel, great news. But are we really kind of attacking society's issues head on here? Are we really doing justice to ourselves and our communities? Or should we really be tackling these issues head on? And curing these problems at the root. Let's see. Morning, guys. Better late than never. How you doing, BTI? Everyone's giving BTI love. And, Eric Love is joining us from the Philippines. Better to be safe than sorry. Exactly, Eric. Stay indoors. Try and keep the air around you clean, and good luck, my friend. What else do we have? Oh, God, Rupert Murdoch. You know Rupert Murdoch, right, Natch?
I think so. I'm not sure.
Australian businessman and founder, chairman of Fox News. All right? One of the modern-day supervillain. Well, Rupert Murdoch, this is coming from CNN Business. Rupert Murdoch steps down as Fox and News Corp chairman, sending shockwaves through media and politics. Number one. Why would they send shockwaves through the world of politics? Is it because there is an inextricable link between Fox News and politics? Well, duh. Hello. So, Rupert Murdoch demite como presidente de Fox y News Corp, causando conmoción en los medios de comunicación y política. Right, Natch.
¿Será posible? Vaya nivelazo.
Got that Friday feeling, Natch. Got that Friday feeling. Important news. Important news. Rupert Murdoch, the influential media mogul, has decided to step down as the chairman of Fox News Corporation and News Corp, marking a significant moment in the media industry. Murdoch, who has had considerable influence in the Republican Party and has been a prominent figure in global media, announced his decision as the industry undergoes transformative changes. Yeah. And that is true, right? With the rise of streaming services, traditional media, cable media, 24-hour news. I mean, I would almost hope that we're starting to see the end of it. Here's my argument, guys. Demite, thank you. Oh, did I pronounce that wrong? My bad, Vero. Can we get a nivelazo for Vero, please?
Vaya nivelazo.
Yeah, you're going to hate what I've got to say, guys. So strap yourselves in. Media was better when there were only 3 channels. Do you know why? Because we are not mature enough to consume content that is good for us. We are too stupid. When I say we, I include myself. I will sit there in my house and watch a 24-hour loop of Australian reality television because I'm sick in the head. Because that's what I enjoy. However, when there were only 3 channels, you were forced to consume a certain amount of educational, informational, and entertainment content. They call that a public service broadcaster. Just like you have here in Spain with Radio Televisión Española, like you have in England with the BBC, like you have in the States with, is it NPR? Public service broadcasters. So a part of the remit of a public service broadcaster is that your audience has to consume education, information, and entertainment. A mix of the 3. That's why when we were kids and we got home from school, there were kids shows. That's why after the kids shows, it was the news. That's why after the news, it was probably some entertainment. Or then a documentary. And whereas, it's not as sexy as watching Australian reality TV, right? Both big fans. He's not, but, for the purposes of this argument. whereas we'd all like to sit there 24 hours a day and watch corrosive entertainment.
Well, I used to be,
Oh, really?
Yes. I've watched La Isla de las Tentaciones.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Very tough stuff.
It's too good.
Yeah.
They make it too good. Oh, it's like McDonald's or Coca-Cola. It's more like Coca-Cola. You know it's bad for you, but it just tastes so good. It quenches that thirst for watching young people argue with each other. It quenches that thirst, man. I get you. I feel you. No shame. Natch and I are both part of a support group. So yeah, whereas it's not good for us, it's not good for us, and we'll just sit there and consume the thing that we enjoy the most, even though it's kind of, It's in some ways rotting our brains, if you like, to use quite an ugly simile there. So Fox News, this 24-hour stream of news, does nothing but feed the fear and consumption and bipartisanship that we're seeing in the world. So if it is the end of what we know as Fox News and that kind of thing starts to disappear, I can only cheer, my friends. I can only say, yay, go us. Well done, world. Finally, final piece of news. Oh, God, there's so much good stuff today. I'll tell you what I'll do, guys. I'll open up today's Patreon post. You can find me on Patreon/Professional Bohemian, and I'll post all the news, even the news that I didn't get to today. Because there's some interesting news about Japan reaching a milestone, a worrying milestone with their population. As of September the 15th, around 36.23 million people in Japan were over 65 years old, making up 29% of the population. Which is a real problem because you have to pay all those retirements. And that's a problem that's going to happen everywhere. You've heard us talk about this many times, this ongoing story of the population crisis, the coming population crisis for most of us. And I want you all to know about a space drugs factory, a factory in space that was producing crystals for a HIV drug that was denied entry back into Earth. Interesting story. But what I do want to tell you about before I go into today's unpopular opinion is this: the world's first humanoid robot factory is set to open this year. Oh, Natch, remember the days where we all had jobs? Remember those days? Wow, good times, man. La primera fábrica de robots humanoides del mundo abrirá sus puertas este año. This piece of news coming from interestingengineering.com. The world's first humanoid robot manufacturing factory is set to open in Salem, Oregon, later this year. The company behind this initiative, Agility Robotics, has named the facility RoboFab. So yeah, in case you want to pinpoint to your great-grandchildren exactly where the apocalypse started, Oregon, Salem. You know, the place where the witches were. Anyway, let's see what people are saying. Pardon my French, but don't you think that some of the public media are kind of Big Brother? Yeah, I would agree with that statement to BTI. Fox versus CNN. Born to Iron Man says, it's time to hire Blade Runners. Wheel out Harrison Ford. Oh my God. All right. With all that said, guys, let's move on rapidly to today's unpopular opinion.
Unpopular opinion.
Okay, today's unpopular opinion is, what did you say? Competición de comida.
Sí, las competiciones de comida.
Las competiciones de comida son asquerosas y deberían prohibirse.
Yes.
Oh, deberían. You caught that right now.
Deberían.
That was without the elf. So competitive eating is gross and it should be banned. Okay, so I posted the poll, not yesterday, the day before, on Instagram, and Instagram said 77% true. From a lot of the messages that I got, people hate it when I say banned. Don't ban things. But yeah, it's gross and horrible and bad for the world. But don't ban things. Banning things is bad. You know, maybe that's a good unpopular opinion for next week. Banning things isn't necessarily bad. It puts you on a slippery slope to... yeah, I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, competitive eating is gross and should be banned. I tortured the elves. They gave me some pros and cons. So let's dive into those now. So, agreeing with the statement that it's gross and it should be banned, competitive eating can be dangerous. Rapid consumption of large quantities of food can lead to choking, stomach ruptures, or other gastrointestinal issues. Over time, frequent competitors might face risks of obesity, diabetes, and other health complications. You know, I think there's a drug for that now, Natch. Okay, wastefulness. In a world where many go hungry, and this is definitely where I'm coming from with this argument. In a world where many go hungry, using food for entertainment and seeing it seeing it wasted in such quantities can be perceived as morally wrong and socially insensitive. Next, watching competitors consume vast amounts of unhealthy food in short periods can send the wrong message about dietary habits, especially to younger audiences. That's why I eat so much pizza and hamburgers, Natch. It's because I watch too much competitive eating. Not really. It's because I'm greedy and lazy. And then finally, many people find the act of rapidly consuming large quantities of food visually unappealing and even disgusting, which can detract from the broader appeal and acceptance of such events. It's gross, right? Look, wow, we've got some messages in the chat, guys. I will get to these in a second. Let's just wrap up these pros and cons. So finally, in the con list, so disagreeing with it, saying, no, competitive eating is fine, bald man, leave it alone. Adults have the autonomy to decide how they want to use their bodies. As long as they understand the risks and are not harming others, they should be free to participate in activities that they enjoy. Yeah, I mean, fair point, right? Like many niche sports or activities, competitive eating has a dedicated following. Fans enjoy the thrill, strategy, and unique nature of the competition. Strategy, yeah, I said that. I don't know what the strategy is. So what's his strategy going into this hot dog eating contest? We're going to eat the hot dogs very quickly. Oh, great. What a strategist. Well, we finally got a war with the robots. He's the guy to lead the charge. Here's me playing chess. Never mind. All right, next. The most competitive eating contests, especially the renowned ones, have medical professionals on standby and set guidelines to minimize immediate health risks. Yeah, immediate health risks, but, you know, not the sludge in the cardiovascular system, right? And shouldn't those medical professionals be doing something more constructive with their time, rather than wiping sausage meat off of people's mouths? You know? And then finally, sorry, I shouldn't editorialize during the pros and cons. Cultural significance. Food challenges and feats of consumption have a long history in various cultures. Banning such events might be seen as dismissive of these cultural practices. As I said, I do have a bunch of messages from Instagram. Sorry if I don't get to all of yours all the time, by the way. Let's see what the chat was saying about this, because we did get some good messages. Rob, you solved the population crisis on the lunchtime show, remember? Combining retirement homes with nurseries. No, I'm the one that wants to combine nurseries with dog kennels. Kiddie kennels. Coming to a good city near you. Kiddie kennels. All right, Vero says, true, for many people, food competitions are fun, but they are not. They encourage junk food, bad eating habits, and competition between people to achieve these stupid feats. That's from Vero. This is what I observe, says Eric. Mostly it's like more deja vu. Yes, we can still support eating contests in different countries, but professional nutritionists, doctors, and certified physicians wanted to have the argument on this kind of particular event, which can cause obesity and several other disorders, eating disorders, etc. Let's ban banning, says the bridge. Can we get a Probo approved? Can't ban banning.
Probo approved.
Can't ban banning. Banning is bad. Let's see. Eric, I talked to a licensed physician about this last Wednesday morning, and she said true for this unpopular opinion, says Eric. Thank you, Eric. Look at that, doing the most basic research that I do not. Let's get him a Probo approved too.
Probo approved.
Okay, Pedro says, more than disgusting, they promote a practice and an approach towards food that is the root cause of one of the world's biggest health problems, i.e. obesity. There's nothing funny or competitive in consuming vast amounts of crappy food. I'm sure There's nothing unpopular in this opinion. And here is someone who once ate 1 meter of pizza in a place named Kilometros de Pizza, just for the fun, to compare with a friend and get my bill paid. So I can be very stupid sometimes. All right, guys, there you get a gambit of opinions. 77% of people said true on Instagram. But the real decision makers here, friends, the real decision makers are the people joining me in the chat. I will post a poll and you will tell me, is it true? Should competitive eating be banned? All right. Guys, I'm having a lot of fun on today's show. Thank you for joining me, for you guys listening live, for you angelic podcast listeners. A lot of things you could have been doing this morning. Instead of doing those things, you took the time to spend some time with Natch and me. And it means the world. See you soon. Hey guys, if you'd like to support the show, you can do so on Patreon. That's patreon.com/professional bohemian. There you'll find VODs of the episodes as they are recorded live, blogs, vlogs, and behind-the-scenes content. If you'd like to watch the show live, you can do so on twitch.tv/professional bohemian, and you can participate in the polls we use in the show on Instagram @professional bohemian or Twitter @proboh, PROBOH. Okay, on with the show. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. If you're just tuning in, what did we speak about today? Oh my God, so many things. All right, we spoke about the new obesity drug, and then we kind of... Well, the new obesity drug, it's been around for a while, but it was used to treat diabetes and has been proven to show massive inroads, massive success in weight loss. But then we kind of went off on a tangent to talk about, more broader societal issues and whether obesity is the problem or if there are more systemic issues that need to be cured that might go a long way to curing the obesity epidemic without having to give people more drugs and more pills. Food for thought. We spoke about Rupert Murdoch stepping down as the chairman of Fox and Fox News Corp. And then we looked at the world's first humanoid robot factory set to open in Salem, Oregon. Just in case you wanted to know where the end of the world started, friends, right there. Right there. All right, and then we moved on today to talk about our unpopular opinion, which is competitive eating. Competitive eating is gross and should be banned. And it's been a fascinating discussion up to now. I'm going to tell you my opinions on the subject as well as we continue. Guys, it's 9 a.m. Central European Time, 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 3 p.m. Hong Kong and the Philippines. Good morning. Let's get into it. So yeah, everyone in the chat seems to be pretty unanimous, more or less, with their disdain for competitive eating. Now, let's get into this. I think most people take issue when I use the word banned. Right? Banned is a dirty word. Don't restrict our freedom. Okay. Yeah, and you know what? I have my issues with censorship too, and that's essentially what banning is. But certain things are patently stupid, in my opinion. All right, so look, I don't have an issue with competitive eating when it comes to personal choice, dude. If you want to stuff your face with 1,000 hot dog sausages, go for it, man. I don't care. Doesn't bother me, not in the slightest. Personal choice, I don't agree. I'm probably not in favor of banning certain things. Now, I'm a smoker. Okay, I will admit, I'll hold my hands up and say, yo, I'm a smoker, guys. So a substance, nicotine, a substance that is closely controlled. And I, as a smoker, appreciate that. I enjoy seeing fewer smokers on the street because I recognize it's bad for my health. And I enjoy the fact that the government and the media have joined together to demonize this awful drug. The best way to stop smoking is to never start. All right? And yes, I've tried to stop smoking 1,000,000 times. Why do I agree with it so strongly, though, when I agree that personal freedom is something that is important? And why do I keep using the word ban? I think the cigarette issue and the competitive eating issue is completely different because of secondhand smoke. Secondhand smoke can affect people around you. There is no such thing as secondhand sausages. If people eat competitively, they're only going to destroy their own lives and maybe the lives of their families. All right? And that's a personal choice. You do you, my friend. As long as the pregnant lady sat next to you isn't going to suffer, then you do you. But what I will say about competitive eating is that it is incredibly tone deaf. Do you know the phrase tone deaf, Natch? No. It's kind of literally, it's kind of an insensitivity to musical pitch. It's like, can you sing? Oh, can you play the piano? No, I'm tone deaf. You know, I don't distinguish certain notes. But it's also got a secondary meaning, which is like an obtuse insensitivity or lack of perception of things that are sensitive in society or should be sensitive in society. Right? So usually during the lunchtime show when I'm trying to be controversial, I'm being tone deaf, you know, but for comedic purposes. I find it incredibly tone deaf. Like I grew up in the 80s, much like the Oracle, watching footage from communities in Africa and the big drives to help feed and clothe the world. Is it not tone deaf that in parts of the world we're televising people shoving crappy food into their mouths? Is that not incredibly tone deaf? Does that not send a dissonant message to people? When we're making an active effort for the world to eat more healthily, or at least we should be, is it not incredibly stupid that we then have these competitions? I mean, have you ever seen one of these competitive eating competitions, Natch?
Yes, well, parts in the in the news.
It's like ironically the only thing that makes me lose my appetite. It's like, my God, gross, man. And it's more for me an issue of the tone deafness. You know, of a substance that is so kind of such a rare commodity in some parts of the world. And something vital for life. You know? If you saw someone in an oxygen-deprived environment and you were sat in an environment where you had all the oxygen in the world and you could breathe perfectly, would you sit there like breathing deeply, laughing, look at me? No, you wouldn't. You would be a little more sensitive to it. Would these competitive eating events happen in and be televised in third world countries? They would think we are absolutely nuts, insensitive, gross people, and quite often we are. And I think competitive eating is one of the things that certainly demonstrates that. Wow. But that is an opinion, friends. That is an opinion. And as Grandpa Bo used to say, opinions are like buttholes. Everyone has one. They all stink, including mine. You know, you may be sat out there watching the show. We'll get to the results or listening to the show, more likely. And thinking, no, come on, it's a bit of harmless fun, bald man. It's a bit of harmless fun. You know, we don't do it in a way to be insensitive to developing countries and their needs. We don't do it with that intent. Yeah. Okay. There are certainly a million things you can and can't do that have ripple effects in the rest of the world. It does not make it any less tone deaf to do it, in my opinion. Show a little sensitivity, zoom out, and realize that we're part of a global community. That's what I think. Anyway, let's see. Rupert Murdoch must be getting on a bit. Yeah, he's 92, I think, Bridge. He must be getting on a bit. That was another blast from my past, says the Bridge. Competitive eating requires more energy than high-end chess. Yeah, that's from Swizzer. How are you doing, Swizzer? What else did I miss? Eric says, these should be banned, period. I agree. Let's continue. Swizzer, really? No, this is from the Bridge. Really, Rob? You're a smoker? We would have never noticed. I actually met a fan of the lunchtime show outside yesterday, Natch. And I was like walking Andy to her car. Obviously smoking. And she opened her mouth. And as she opened her mouth, I was just passing Andrea the cigarette. And she's like, there, you did it. It's true. Because Andy says on the radio that she smokes my cigarettes. Let's see. Humans will always test their limits. Competitive eating is just that. Like the pepper eating competitions. Heart attack prone. Real time, says Swizzer. Rob, that was brilliantly put. You are completely right, says the bridge. Ravdos is here. Methinks ye doth protest too much. Competitive eating events are the rare occasion a rare occasion compared to sporting events. Yeah. Yeah, but sporting events aren't as exclusive as it would be globally. I mean, I just find competitive eating, again, I hate to repeat the phrase tone deaf, but that's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. It's the West. It's the West. We rich countries flaunting our wealth. If your neighbor started redecorating the outside of his house in a way to extravagantly, to excess, boast about their wealth, you would think, wow, what an a-hole. Oh yeah, I've just gotten back from the Philippines where I bought a new property. Yes, my children go to the best schools. You would think, wow, what an a-hole. Well, why are we... It's only Western countries that do this, by the way. Competitive eating. Or maybe not. Maybe in Asia as well. Maybe in Asian countries. Maybe Japan, China. I don't know. But it's rich countries that participate in this. And it's tone deaf. We need to stop. Right? Be better members of the global community. In my mind. Let's see. What else? See you later, Eric. Thank you. Cheers, director. Asia also do it, says Swizzer. So there you go, confirmation. All right, so should we get to the results of the poll? You guys have spoken. Remember on Instagram it was 77%, I think, true. Let me see. Yeah, 77%. What did you guys say? All right, let's get a drum roll, Natch. So competitive eating should be banned. You guys said 80% true. Okay, we'll get to that famous part of the show where I walk back half of my argument. All right, yeah, sure. So as I kind of hinted at earlier in the show, I'm not pro banning or for prohibiting things. You know, we all engage in things that are bad for us, and we all get upset or angry when legislation makes that impossible. Surely we should have the autonomy and the agency to decide what we do with our bodies and with our time. And, to a certain extent, I agree with that. But competitive eating, look, I'm not saying, that all-you-can-eat buffet you go to at lunchtime with your work colleagues, I'm not saying close that down. I'm not saying, like, those Meta pizzas shouldn't exist. I'm saying we shouldn't be flaunting the abundance of food we have. In most developed countries, we have an excess of food. We have food mountains. We're throwing away food that is consumable. And you all know this. You've seen the documentaries, the news reports, just like me, where supermarkets throw out consumable food just because it's past an arbitrary date. We all know this. Do you think in developing countries, they would, how do you think they would react to that? How do you think they would side-eye, glance and judge us for being so irresponsible with a commodity that is so hard to come by where they live? Don't be the a-hole neighbour bragging about their wealth and abundance. Let's not be that. Let's act a little bit more responsibly. Let's be better members of the global community. Let's ban competitive eating. Let's do it. There you go, guys. Those are my final thoughts. As always, just opinions. Friends, thank you. That's our unpopular opinion for today. 80% of you said true. Banned. Someone let the world governments know. The Pro Bush show's spoken. All right, let's go to today's 100 Humans. Yeah, I mean, there are arguments to be made, right, with the health issue of it as well. There are arguments to be made. It's bad for you. You shouldn't be, choking down so much bad food. But for me, it's an issue of taste. It's an issue of, just being better people. I don't know. Let's see. According to Uncle Wiki, competitive eating is most popular in the United States, Canada, and Japan, where organized professional eating contests offer prizes, including cash. Thank you, Bontuai. We get a nivelazo for Bontuai, man.
Wow, que nivelazo.
Dropping some serious knowledge, thank you. Joey Chestnut is the #1 ranked eater in the world, and he joins the Fan for an interview after pounding down 12 pounds of mac and cheese in 5 minutes. That's macaroni with cheese. Macarones con queso. God damn. Don't get me wrong. I eat like that too, just not competitively. All right, friends. God, it was a long walk to work today, guys. Long walk. Across snow-capped mountains and through river valleys. And on that walk, I encountered 100 humans. And I asked them all a question. Today's question was, name a place that gets crowded at the end of a work day. Nombra un lugar que se llene de gente al final de la jornada laboral. Okay, name a place that gets crowded at the end of a work day. There should be a social law that supermarkets were obliged to offer the food to people with few days of safety, of course, paid by the government and small percentage of the price. It's one of the worst economic impacts we have today. Some stats point to 10% of all fresh food gets thrown away and 30% in high-end restaurants. It's the worst. Agreed. That's from Swizzer. Can we get Probo approved from Swizzer?
Probo approved.
I can see you're all still on this food waste problem, and it is a problem, and I agree. Ravdos, just to wrap up. Food waste isn't just a matter of, look at places that want for food. There are poor within those countries that waste food for whom that food could be given to and never gets it. That's true. Even within our own communities. I mean, you're going to hate this, not so much in Europe, but I know there's some abject poverty in the States. And in England, probably here in Spain too, come on. Even within our own communities, we shouldn't be wasting food because there are always people that need it. Yeah, agreed. So name a place that gets crowded at the end of a work day. Let's see. All right. Woo, Swizzer, here we go. He says, a pub or a bar. A pub or a bar. Un paf. Is it there? Yes, it is. Well done. There, 26 of the 100 humans. Dude, what's wrong with me today, Natch? I completely skipped the Oracle. Name a place that gets crowded. Well, at least we've got the #1 out of the way. Gets crowded at the end of a workday. Go on, Natch. What do you think?
Supermarkets.
Supermarket. Maybe in the States you'd refer to it as a grocery store, where you go to buy your food, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Supermarket. Swizzer said supermarket. Is it there, though? Yes, it is. Well done, guys. Supermarket, grocery store is there. It's the 6th most popular answer, with 7 of 100 humans saying grocery store or supermarket. Supermercado, vamos. De toda la vida. All right, next, let's see. Public transport. Wow, I love that answer. Dude, we've got some clever warriors in the audience today, Natch. Public transit or public transport. Is it there? Transporte público. Yes, it is. Well done, Rafelka. That was a difficult one, eh? That wasn't so obvious. It's there. It's the 4th most popular answer, with 9 of the 100 humans saying public transit. Okay, gyms. Gimnasio. Is gym there? That's another good one from Rafelka. No, it's not. But totally, right? Totally. I like to work out. I work out. That's a blatant lie. But when I did work out, I worked out at lunchtime. Best time for me. You're a morning worker outer, right, Natch?
Well, not now. Now I work out after work.
Ah, okay.
I've changed my routine.
It's probably better, right? Just to shake off the stress of the day. Yeah. All right, let's continue. Roadways, says Ravdos. Roadways. Oh, the highway. Autopista, you'd say in Spanish, right?
¡Wow! ¡Qué nivelazo!
Is it there, though? Yes, it is. Well done. Wow. Ravdos, another not so obvious one. Well done, Swizzer. I can't say that on air, can I? The red light district. I only know a very colloquial way to say that in Spanish, so I can't say it on the radio. So sorry, it's not there. It's not there. All right, houses, people's homes, a place that gets crowded at the end of the workday. It's not there. It's not there. All right, I could give you a clue. All right, this is a leisure activity, a place where you would do a leisure activity, but not competitively. If you listen to the first half of the show, you will know this. This is a leisure activity, a place where you go to do something, but not competitively. What was today's unpopular opinion? Oof, it's a tough one. Ravdos has an answer. Ravdos says restaurant. Is restaurant there? Yes, it is. Well done. Okay, next. So we've said grocery store, but maybe you don't need to buy food. Where would you go? You wanted to experience the thrill of commerce, of this consumer society. You want to be in the hallowed halls of the churches of this consumerist society. Where would you go? Rafelka has an answer. What do you think, Natch?
To the mall.
To the mall, the shopping centre. Well done, guys. You guys, you're doing great work. Doing great work. Centro comercial, you'd say in Spanish. Oh, Natch. It's not.
¿Será posible?
I know.
Vaya nivelazo.
Remember, you've got to work all day, Natch. You think your finger's going to get sore. I'm killing it today. So, shopping centre there. Fifth most popular answer. You've only got one more to go. All right. This one is probably the weirdest of the answers, so it doesn't surprise me that nobody got it. All right. This is... You probably go here after work when you get paid. Maybe you want to check if everything worked correctly. I don't know. Yeah, no, this is another a different kind of hallowed hall in this consumerist society of ours. Ravdos has another answer. Ravdos, by the way, killing it today. Well done. What do you think, Natch?
Bank.
The bank. Well done, guys. Well done. All right, let's very quickly go through the list. Are we ready, 100 humans? Okay, let's do it. So I asked 100 humans to name a place that gets crowded at the end of a workday. Un lugar que se llena de gente al final de la jornada laboral. In position number 7, we had restaurante. In position number 6, we had, grocery store. A grocery store. Supermercado. In position number 5, we had mall, shopping centre, un centro comercial. In position number 4, we had public transport, transporte público. In position number 3, with 18 of 100 humans saying this one, was bank, banco. In position number 2 was highway, autopista, or motorway in the UK. 20 of 100 humans said that one. And finally, in position number 1, with 26 of 100 humans saying this one, well done, it was a bar. Well done to Swizzer and BTI for guessing that one correctly. Well done. Who goes to banks, says Swizzer. Yeah, anymore, right? It's so hard to find a bank with a human in it nowadays. Jeez Louise. And I'm old school, man. I want to speak to people. All right, with all that said, guys, let's go to today's Complete the News.
Complete the news.
Okay, this is a good one. All right, here we go, friends. It's time for Complete the News. I'm going to give you a real news headline. Okay, I'm going to give you a real news headline, but I'm going to leave out some important information. With the 3 options I give you, you should complete the news. All right, for those of you listening and not interacting, this is your moment. Because all you have to write, in fact, all I encourage you to write is A, B, or C. Here we go. An Australian journalist calls her baby blank as a test of naming regulations. An Australian journalist calls her baby blank to test naming regulations. Un periodista australiana llama a su bebé blank para poner a prueba la normativa sobre nombres. All right. Is it A, Methamphetamine Rules? Is it B, Osama bin Hitler? Or is it C, crystal meth? Okay. Australian journalist calls her baby blank as a test of naming regulations. Un periodista australiana. But what did she call her baby? Was it A, Methamphetamine Rules? Methamphetamine, I think you say in Spanish. Was it B, Osama bin Hitler? Or was it C, crystal meth? Seems like A is in the lead. What do you think, Natch?
I like crystal meth.
You like crystal meth? Because crystal is a name. Well, the real answer was, let's get a drum roll. Congratulations to the chat. Commiserations to Natch. It was A, Methamphetamine Rules. True story. I will post the link in my Patreon if you guys want to go and check out that news story. I will open that up today so you can all see it. Friends, a lot of things you could have been doing today. In fact, the entire week. But instead of doing those things, you took the time to spend some time with Natch and myself, and it means the absolute world. I will see you next time.